you can't dine out on that forever. Eventually, that is gonna fall, and that's what Loud have essentially been doing for the last sort of 180 days. Because that's how far back I had to go in the tool to find the game. It was 117 days ago, 13th of May, against BDS. Since then, no one wants to play him on it. And we might be about to find out why either it's a perma ban against them, and it is their highest preference map, or we might be about to rip the veil down on the fact that maybe they just beat BDS once and they're not that good at it.
Well, they at least get the chance to run up the score early on defense, as it's actually Loud starting on that side first. My mistake earlier. And you know they're going to be happy that that's true, because every team likes starting defense on Skyscraper. It's just like that in Consulate. The moment somebody picks this map at a best of one, you know the team with side selection is picking defense. It's pretty much a guarantee. And if not, because some maps it'll be like, oh, you know, they're picking to start defense on Shell 8. That's kind of crazy, but like with Theorycraft, like Skyscraper and Console, it's like if you don't pick defense, it's like, okay, but why? Like, I'm not saying it's bad. You can have great Skyscraper Console attacks, but why? It's the best side on this map. It's the best side on Console as well, but it's the best side on this map, and if you look at the operator ban phase, a lot of hard breach denial being banned in the games you and I have casted, like not just one, but both, it seems, on these defenses seem to get taken off early. And that means, of course, you got things like the Malusi and the Smoke, but most importantly to me, you got the Azami for these first 3 rounds to lock down Shrine or Drum. That is huge and makes this map even more of a pain to attack.
It really does. That middle portion of the top floor is often used as a portion of the map that you can layer into your defenses regardless of the site that you're defending on that top floor, whether you're over in Office or whether you're in T and Karaoke. You're going to make use of Terrace, you're going to make use of Shrine. You're going to make use of Drum, and Azami is a brilliant tool to be able to do that. The hard breach ban, I kind of get it. It can be tricky to open walls on Sky, but realistically, it's a speed thing that you're looking for more than anything, and removing the hard breacher just allows anybody with a tin opener, anyone with a, you know, a Hibana or whatever it might be, to just get the job done solo and very quickly and mount a push. So it gives that little bit more flexibility onto the attack and a bit more time for if they are looking to try and pinch out a player on the top floor. There's kind of no excuses as to why they can't get there. Initially, we're seeing a little bit of a setup over toward the Office side, which is very typical. You're going to want to try and build your attack across. And the mute jammers are causing quite a lot of trouble right now. Might have gotten the heart breaches. Those mute jammers are still going to be there for not only drones, but also to stop those walls getting open. And you can soak up a Dokubi call or two as well if you're in the radius.
Machina with the first, and only the first. It's live, going on for the trade. Rare sprinting into Office. He's able to reclaim that advantage for Black Dragons. We'll be sad to lose that Dokubi. Also sad to lose Machina, one of the more impressive players from Black Dragons last stage. Of course, Muzi being taken off this roster, and instead Ass coming in. Or excuse me, Miracle coming in. You always have to be a little bit concerned how that firepower is going to shape up, and so far Rare at least doing quite a nice job at making it work this round. Completely dealing with the opposite side, and you have to wonder, why are Loud getting so aggressive over here? It's Teen Karaoke. He still got Flashtree inside a Drum. Now he's got 4 attackers surrounding him entirely. And it's just Baseto left inside a B site. Ask will feed himself to the SMG-11 immediately, and there's a bit more information that the Smoke can work with. Nade goes way too far past, so he'll start face-checking over by Geisha, but Black Dragons just put a little pressure over by Geisha, rotate to the opposite side, and steamroll through this Karaoke setup.
Very impressive first round attack there from Black Dragons. We talk about Skyscraper as a map where 1 or 2 attacking rounds usually is enough and will separate a winning team from a losing team on any given day. Black Dragons to come out of the gate and pick up their first round on the attack here is a very good sign for them of things to come. Maybe yesterday against NIP was the wake-up call that they needed. And as was mentioned by the analyst desk, these two teams are very likely to be rubbing shoulders with each other when we come down to the end of the stage in terms of the standings, if previous results are anything to go by, and usually they're pretty good. A very important game for both of these two sides at the moment. Loud stunned into sticking to their rotation. I would be surprised. I'm fairly surprised. Typically, teams will stick to a rotation if they feel like there was nothing that they could do differently and they just need a bit more time to think about it before they go back there. But I feel like the answer to that was maybe a little bit simpler than they're reading into, and it was just play a little bit more defensively. You don't need to be giving yourself up so early. Black Dragons gained a hell of a lot of space for very little in the opening portion of the round, and it was very quickly that it was left in a 2 versus 5 essentially for Loud. The only casualty being Ask, and that was essentially an information gathering exercise at that point.
Yeah, I would agree. It really, Skyscape was one of those maps that it often is kind of as simple as it sounds, but I'm also not going to blame a team for just sticking with their site rotation, trying to keep the attacking team on their toes. No one is going to complain about that, at least not me in this case. Obviously, 2 pickups on Black Dragons coming into the roster. Miracle and Ask making his return as he played for this team back in Stage 2 of last year. The reason why I highlight that, obviously, is a bit of a revenge game. Flash 3 on the opposite side was on Black Dragons last stage and dropped, and I think will probably be the most disappointed to see Loud drop that first defense. Likely most eager to see the C4 from Perez work out. Unfortunately, falls short, caught by the railing. Machina suffers a lot of damage outside of the sword window, but Live sort of just waltzing in front of it, thinking that maybe that Ying is further back or around the corner, and that assumption, unfortunately, bites him. Hornet also going down earlier, so no clear lead established by either of these teams. But with how Black Dragons were able to take that first attack, any momentum they gained is something to fear.
It's again a good example, isn't it? They're Live just getting caught just in the flow. Floundering. No real reason to be peeking Sword's door at that point. You've now lost the Warden. Rare going to pick up a really important frag as well. You've still got Candelas left here, and they're going to be used to start and execute.
What an angle by Ask, by the way. Really long, shallow angle almost through the floorboards of first and second. SDK looking to make some kind of play and bring that man count back. Just puts all of his mag into the Blackbeard shield, and that's not really going to do much. Instead, fires them into the legs the moment he walks through. Flash 3 clearly channeling some of that anger, some of that resentment, but there's so much damage and so much work to do! What the hell is he doing? Playing T-Hunt inside of Exhibition. Flash 3 snatches victory from the jaws of defeat.
Brilliant finish there from Flash 3. Wasn't to be flustered at all there. Held his ground firm. It was a very basic approach from Black Dragons. They were just looking to try and pressure him through the breach. The Book making that transition between Terrace and Shrine. And the Skeleton Key, the only audio cue that was required. Flash 3 with 2 really nice kills to close it out. Brilliant work on dealing with the Blackbeard as well. It was a good little crossfire onto Blackbeard as they walked into office. Loud have done a great job of holding on there because Black Dragon, again, it looked like they held a lot of the cards for a brief time. And if Loud are able to tidy up a couple of these mistakes, these rounds will start being a lot less close and a lot less one-sided.
I mean, we'll see a little bit more before we decide, call if it won't be one-sided or not. Flash 3 not only had to pop off, but he had to hit some pretty nasty shots just to make that pop-off work. Hopefully a little bit
I would
more
agree,
caring.
but the attack wasn't groundbreaking, really, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think that's fair.
It was a Ying and a Blackbeard, and then they just tried to walk through main breach. So if Live doesn't just peek Swords window for no reason, and he's still up at that moment as well, like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't feel like Black Dragons were reinventing the wheel that round.
No, I'll give you that. I also think, as you pointed out, with some of the defense, there was some silly moments happening, unfortunately. Like you said, just walking in front of the Swords window. Hey, Barbecue is always the opportunity for Black Dragons maybe to find a way in, maybe to bring out something a little bit more convincing than what we just saw in Office and Exhibition. But if Loud can stabilize here, there's a really good shot at this defensive half. As always is the case on Skyscraper, it could be something really difficult for the attack to figure out. You have one player pushed all the way up to the top floor. The STK, who will hear the barb being broken on house stairs. Flashtree, 5 kills in a row at the moment. Popping off for Loud as STK hears that blitz and will try and vacate the premises as soon as possible.
Keeper barricades being used just to add a couple of layers to this defense. You can retreat a little bit, add a keeper. Flashtree eventually shut down. He has been on a little bit of a tear, but it won't go without response as Black Dragons are just falling around themselves at the moment. Live taking Rare down. I don't care what map you're on, you will take that advantage and then some. Miracle and Hornetau. I mean, what are they to do at the moment?
Yeah, not much of anything. There's a really shoddy third round from Black Dragons, and honestly, I think your perception of round 2 is quite accurate, not just in terms of what happened, but also is certainly the trend that we see this half take at round 3. What was the game plan there? A blitz solo pushing from house side? Some Geisha drum control, but like no coordination with the utility or the angles being held. The blitz then just charges down main stairs in the 3v4, and there's defenders behind him that kill him from upstairs where he just came from. It's one of the things that kind of defined the Ask era of Black Dragons is that when they were hitting their shots, they looked kind of crazy. There were also just some times where it feels like the comms were getting really hectic and not everyone was on the same page. And there's still plenty of time for that trend to be either confirmed or disproved. But I can tell you that looking at that round we just saw, that was not unlike the Ask era of Black Dragons all the way back almost a year ago in Stage 2.
Back to tea and karaoke then. The only site that Black Dragons have been successful in so far is Army and the Ying both removed now. Frees up Loud somewhat. They now no longer have to worry about playing the Warden, which is something that they've been rocking in a few of these rounds. Blitz is still, of course, a threat, but you can't get rid of everything. And STK forced into the castle to enable some of that same expansion of the site. Obviously not as flexible as Army and those Kiba barricades, but does a somewhat similar job. Now, if Loud are smart about this, they're not going to rotate and hold as heavily as they did in round number 1 over in the office side. And they should be able to keep hold of that ground a little bit firmer this time as well, given that the Ying has been taken out. Still got the mute, which is going to provide a brilliant blocker for any drone work that is going to come through. It'll have to sneak by that. But at least for the kickoff, the Flores will open that soft wall, which is kind of strange that it's been left soft, because there are still a couple of reinforcements kicking around.
We'll at least give another angle for the defense, maybe. Once it's destroyed, something for Live to peek through and get more information, and certainly at least says, hey, they're going to be paying a little attention to this roam, so maybe the site doesn't have to worry about getting hit in the next 30 seconds. Anything you can glean from the situation, I suppose, will be nice. Vulcan Pack spotted inside of house. It's just a bit more of a concentrated clear of the Office Exhibition side. It felt a bit more kind of ad hoc in round 1, with Rare just kind of hopping in and then seeing people turned away from him. But this time, most of the forces being brought to bear by Black Dragons are over there. Now when the Selma's used on Geisha, Impact Grenade gets hit. Seems there's a much stronger setup being brought by Loud that, unfortunately, Black Dragons are running out of time to deal with.
Time is going to become a factor, isn't it? Vulcan packs, there's only so much that these Rotero drones are going to be able to get done. You've still got to remove players like Live. Nade literally hits him. Somehow manages to get out of the way of it. But he can't also blow up the C4. And therefore it isn't going to have the desired effect. Left on 1 HP on these main stairs. Needs to support Flastry.
Ooh. Supports him quite well. Unfortunately, Machina just sails in. Finds both of them, in fact. Not sure entirely how that happened, but this round went from being a little bit of a shutout. Now Black Dragons have a way back in. 45 seconds left. They have the Blackbeard to make space. There's still 3 defenders in front. And just the nature of this map is you only need about 3 to make this feel a lot harder to push through, depending on where this utility goes, what angles Perez decides to hold, and if Rare is able to have any impact or not. Pushing through will be really nice, but again, with the Fuser in hand and smokes in your way, STK also still firing shots down Black. There is not a clear way for Black Dragons into this site, even in the 4v3. They've got to start getting kills. They've got to start taking fights. And Loud have had time to hold off angles, take off positions, and start pre-firing and completely stunting this attack before it even gets out of the crib. Black Dragons completely at a loss for words right at the finish line.
All about the time. Black Dragons had a huge stall out in the early portion of the round. And despite a good couple of kills coming through in that mid portion, it just wasn't enough. Kind of feel a little bit sorry for them. I think if they'd had another 30 seconds, they'd have probably been able to execute onto that. But also, they didn't have a great kit. I commented at the start that the office wall was left soft and we saw the Flores opening. At that point, I looked down. There wasn't a lot of hard breach kicking around. And they weren't able to open up the back of gold and remove the smoke from being able to play in there. Obviously, smoke eventually rotates out because he knows no one's coming through drum side and he's just worried about the players that are going to walk through from Shrine. But I don't know. Maybe a little bit of hard breach there would have gone a long way and would have been able to disrupt that player. Obviously, the vert angle was kiboshed. Live was able to pick up that kill despite the fact that he was on 1 HP. Vert is, of course, a great way of dealing with players inside of gold. In T-Room. As it stands, any hopes of a sort of early Black Dragons advantage on this attacking side are slowly but surely slipping out of their grasp. As Loud have chained 3 rounds together and don't really show any signs of slowing down. One thing that isn't going to be slow, Lynx, this round. Look at the state of that lineup.
What? No. This is gonna be a chill one, I think. Little 2.5 minute setup. Minute of droning. You're going to see maneuvers on the drone that you've never even thought of. No, this is going to be a quick one, especially with the grenades going on and probably trying to destroy that Banshee, though unfortunately, at least the first one will miss. Oh, the second one's perfect. Right on the money with that one. So if anybody wants to hop in the Sword's window, they'll still have a gun to deal with, but at least they won't be slowed down by the Banshee. It's a bit of an ironic name, given how low frequency that sound is, but I'm not going to get into that. And you can see the plan here. As the blitz goes in, the Amaru going to send it up this hatch. How has he just lived because of that C4? Reflexes on Rare are crazy. And now all the utility moves into place. Door allows the hop in. Amaru up through the hatch. When is this diffuser going to be put down? They're trying to deal with this position held by Live. And finally, Ask plays it patient, yet so does Flashtree. Just seeing the angle held right around the corner. He is not missing those shots today. But 1v4 was already a lot to ask, and single-handedly snapshotting onto Black Dragon's attackers 2 times on Office is a little bit too tall of an order. Could be 3 attacking rounds for Black Dragons, but 2 after a really strong rush is nothing to complain about.
I think that's how you've got to attack Skyscraper. You've got to throw one of those rounds into the rotation at some point, and it's just all about when. Brilliant time, round 5. Maybe they're not expecting so much of a rush. We saw that in the fact that we had things like Scopos being played. They were looking to chill out and waste some time because that's what's worked previously. Black Dragons have undone themselves by wasting time earlier on in this fixture. All of a sudden, Black Dragons immediately switch up the pace. They come in with some serious aggression and speed in round number 5. And Loud aren't ready for it. They were expecting the slow and steady push once again. And it was demonstrated in the operators that were picked. I think it was a fantastic choice to go for that from Black Dragons. Yeah, they could have got the diffuser down a little bit earlier, and yes, it was a little bit touch and go. Obviously, a 3 versus 1, when 1 player's down, 1 player's on 1 HP, that's quite doable inside of Siege. I'm going to be honest with you, especially with some of the skill we've been shown here tonight. But it was a bit of a step too far for Loud. Black Dragons now have the chance of an equal half, and I feel like we're flipping and flopping on them at the moment because when they've looked good, I would argue round 6 and round 1, they've looked very good. Everywhere else, They have looked quite poor. Let's see how they show us in round 6.
Well, Black Dragons be getting this round. What do we think? We got one shield, but a lot more normal operators. It's kind of split down the middle on this one. Could go either way. It is going to be a slower start. You can see the blitz starting all the way on the opposite side on the top floor. Air jabs being placed on some of the exteriors. So it's going to be a full clear, at least for the initial bit. Makes sense for barbecue. I'm not going to critique that. Got to get some angles on Geisha. You want to make sure the opposite side is clear before you go in, especially if it's reinforced. You don't know if anybody's extending. Certainly chill so far, but a Dokkaebi call will go out, and I think the rest of this clear, will manifest. Down goes STK, another player spotted inside of Exhibition. So they're actually, pardon me, there was one player here, but he was seemingly by himself. And will be pretty easy to deal with just from where, what the hell, Ask? He's just with the pistol? What are we doing? I have not seen mechanics quite like that. Liquid drop this guy? Flawless round for Black Dragons. I know where we're getting that attack at least.
The duality of this team. They're like the SSG of SAL.
Actually, that's actually really funny you say that. I've literally said that before.
They can be the best team in the world, or they can just be terrible. I guess it looks like a similar sort of ideology and foundation, doesn't it? Of they make a decision, and whatever the decision is, it's carried out as per the decision, and there's not a lot of deviation. And if it's a good decision, great. If it's a bad decision, well, so what? We go next.
Full commit. It
kind of feels a little bit like that at sometimes. Yeah, it's a very, very ride or die sort of situation. I like it though. 3 rounds on a skyscraper.
Could have been 4.
Do we just give him 3 points now?
This could have been a 4-2 if Flashy didn't decide to go beast mode. Which, by the way, like, some of the shots people have been hitting today.
It's been a bit crazy, hasn't it?
This, I need to, like, I was about to say I need to sit down, but I am actively sitting down. I need to lay down. Some of the shots Flashy been hitting, ridiculous. Ask with that pistol right there. I don't even know what the hell was happening.
I think Loud's problem in that defense for me was that I don't think that they adapted very well to the game that Black Dragons were playing. They were very much hoping, like, skyscraper defensive sided map, we can just set our stall out and they have to play into it.
Ollie.
And Black Dragons kind of threw that rule book out.
Well, so actually, I'm glad you said that. So, Ollie, since they threw the rule book out, what game were Black Dragons playing? I'm curious. Really quantify what game Black Dragons were playing in that half.
I think they played their own brand of Siege very well because they were able to operate at different levels. They operated slowly and it caught them out, and then as soon as they injected a bit of pace, Loud didn't know what to do with themselves.
Okay, that was actually a very serious answer to my question, and it was actually quite a good one.
I know.
So I'll give you that.
I know, because I actually put extra effort in because I know that you were trolling.
I appreciate that. I love that from you, actually. And it is a fair point. I mean, Black Dragons certainly showed that they want to play multiple paces, but at least the faster one in round 6 was enough to get the job done. This time, Loud moved the attacking side, and while they have been anything but fast, they are, last stage, I believe they were the slowest attacking team in the league. Most of their entry engagements often happening, I think, in the second half of the round a lot of the time. A lot of the time, Bassetto was like 0-12 in opening duels because things would take so long that by the time that Loud were going for a plant, it was a 5v5 with 20 seconds left, and he'd get like C4'd or something. This is a team that loves their plants, but loves to take their time. Will it work out? We'll see so far. Lav's able to get the 5v4, and then Hornet just walks in front of the breach, so Bassetto just ADS's, and now minute and 15 seconds in, Loud have a 5v3 on Skyscraper attack. You could reset for a minute and 15 seconds. There's still a chance that things might work out. But always count on Ask to get aggressive. The moment that Deathmark tracker starts buzzing around his head, he pulls out the shotgun, swings the Nomad, and falls back.
The big pick from Ask. Because now it does throw a little bit of a confidence issue Loud's way. They've gotten a couple of really good opening picks. There's a little bit of information knocking around. We've got a BP inside a shrine. But if Loud are taking this time to reset, that means that Black Dragons can also do the same. Ask has actually got himself downstairs into delivery. You know, if he picks up another kill right now, especially given that there are 3 Keybers left, There's a very big chance right now for Black Dragons, even though the man count isn't in their favor. Loud need to do something with the control that they've got. And I don't think they know just how much is available to them. STK, he takes Live down.
Oof.
Sorry, takes Ask down. Live on the drone. Should have someone that he can get on a death mark at the moment. Now's the time to use it, but these keepers are coming in at a beautiful time.
Gonna try to stall what little time remains. 2v4 is gonna be quite tricky to figure out. C4 unfortunately goes wide. And here Rare waits. We are able to find one. The second fall soon after. It's a pretty quick trade, and all that is left for Miracle, the veteran, to try and find two, and that's not gonna happen. How about an attacker-sided Skyscraper, perhaps? As they have just taken the majority of rounds one on Skyscraper today.
Tonight just gets weirder and weirder, doesn't it?
It never ends.
An attacker-sided Sky, who'd have thought it? Well, so far at least. I mean, hey, good on Loud. They've kept the chins up after that first phase. Came out with a really good 2 opening picks, which was the reason that they were able to win the round. That was the win condition. And the resetting, yeah, they spent their time wisely. They had plenty of enough time in the 2 versus 1 at the end. They had a good amount of information. Black Dragons maybe just needing to take a little bit of pace out of the defenses. It was pace that won them the attacks. I'm not sure it's going to be pace that will win them the defenses the same way. They do need to just throw a little bit of more caution into the mix.
That's not a word that I've often found in Black Dragon's vocabulary.
What, patience or caution?
Yes.
Or both? Just yes.
It's like they have patience, and then every synonym has just been blacked out. It's just not there. And to be fair,
you look it up in the dictionary, it's just redacted.
It's actually, they've Control F and replaced it. It just still says go. If you try to look up patience, it says go. Don't stop. Keep moving. But to be fair, it's what made that Black Dragons under Ask so fun to watch. Would they look silly sometimes? Yeah. Did they also have a really bad stage at one point? Also, yes, they didn't even win a game. However, they can be extremely fun and really difficult to deal with when the momentum is behind them. And it's also this weird thing with Ask. It was also kind of why I was curious why Liquid picked him up. Not because he's a bad player. He's actually very good. But Ask, when he was performing well individually, was like doing a lot of what we saw last round, kind of moving into off spots on the defense, always taking these risks, going quickly on the attack, and then he's playing a bit more slower of a role on Liquid, whereas you can see he's back in this position. He's 8-5. Individually, he's performing very well, and obviously Black Dragon's still in the deficit. But this is a style that Ask in particular is comfortable in, and I don't think anybody really on this team is going to feel too uncomfortable playing. Now, it doesn't pay off all the time, like, for example, wide-swinging main stairs with a shotgun like that. Miracle, unfortunately, thinks the guy's a little closer than he is, so the trade's not going to happen, at least on that immediate engagement. Rare will bring it back to a 4v4 as the hard breacher falls. There's still one roamer in the wind and an opportunity for Loud to pinch with half the round to go.
Deathmark's going to start to come out now as well. There is still quite a bit to chew through right now. Malusi Banshees, going to be some evil eye cameras out there. And see Live has a plethora of operators to send a Deathmark toward. So there should be no lack of information right now. Miracle just hanging out on these house stairs, trying to be that backline. He's very likely going to come to blows downstairs with Live. All depends on that barbed wire. Is Live going to use the nade to destroy it? Is Miracle going to swing off the back of it?
Oh. He could swing off the back of it, but Rare. But that Alda seems to have other plans in mind. Oh my goodness, Miracle. Just trying to take the fight on bottom house. Live will make him regret that, but Rare's been good for these trades every single time. Now that he's the one in the hot seat with a nade at his feet, how much is the Maestro going to accomplish? So low HP and not enough angles, not nearly like what he had before. Room to breathe this time. He's feeling a little bit of that pressure and starting to choke on it. 14 seconds left. Loud love to take their time, and boy, are they trying to use every one of these seconds. Here's the diffuser around the corner, so Hornet creeps up, might be able to flick down on the next, but the Blackbeard behind. That's not going to happen. 2 attacks in a row from Loud. We're starting to see why Skyscraper was a permaban against them for so long.
Good enough to beat BDS. Be good enough to beat most teams in the world. Timeout. Tension. I always get a little bit taken aback when we have a timeout that isn't called at like the point where we get the bans.
I know.
Always throws me for a little bit of a loop, you know?
It's also like, it makes it easy, like, just to be straight up, makes it easy for us, because it's like, okay, we just talk about the bans.
But it used to be a skill. We used to be really good at predicting them. And now I just expect them to come when we have the mid-round bans.
We've been spoiled.
We have. It's like when you used to have to remember phone numbers. Oh, you won't remember this, but you used to have to remember phone numbers.
Okay. Actually, I was going to say I'm not that young, but actually I am. I know that was a thing. I've never had to do that. I only ever memorized my parents' phone numbers. I couldn't tell you a single other phone number of somebody in my life.
I've got loads. They're still in there. I can't get rid of them. I need to like make space.
Honestly, I think I also need to go through my contacts list and start calling a little bit. There's people in there who I just... Do I need...
Oh, I was meaning like mentally. Like,
oh, gotcha.
I need to make space up there, you know?
I meant physically. Like, why do I still have Johnny from 8th grade in my phone?
Give him a ring, see what they're doing.
I've not seen that guy in years. I just made up Johnny, by the way. That's not a real person. But there are people I knew from 8th grade in my phone. Loud have looked very good so far, and obviously we still have one more round before we get that 3rd ban. We'll be interested to see what, not really what Loud opt to ban, as I'm going to be honest, it's probably going to be a zombie, but what Black Dragons might decide to ban, because that one I don't know as much. Like, do you target the Blackbeard? Basetto has brought it twice. That would make sense. But you still got the Blitz, and for the purposes that Loud have been using, a Blitz is going to fill a very similar niche to Blackbeard.
Could be one of those occasions where there's really no right answer, and
I don't think there is.
Whichever one you do, the other one's going to punish you regardless. Maybe Black Dragons just need to come up with some better solutions. I know we've sort of memed on it and joked about it a little bit, but I would like them to just pay a little bit more mind to these early portions of the round and not give that opening pick away so softly. It looks at least, as we've seen 45 seconds, that they are doing that. There's no one like pressing their face up against a window or anything like that. So hopefully, at least for them, they're going to keep themselves just a touch safer. I mean, they've got tons to play behind here as well.
Yeah.
There's Army and Castle. They've got the FNATs. They've got everything you need. They've got info, C4s, and architecture for the site. So there's no real need to make things too complicated right now.
There really isn't. Oh, hello. Miracle giving a little bit of a jump scare over on Black Stairs as Basetto just breaks down the barricade, then immediately backs off. You can see them setting up for this pinch, though. As the Candelas go out, STK repels in, shotgun in hand. Down he goes. Very light work for Loud, but very well executed. Oh my goodness, he just shoots that one. Bit of a horror game at the moment for both teams. Everyone being frightened by utility and operators. Peros unfortunately falls, so Loud will have to take a bit of a breather. Likely reassess, because while they took down Black Stairs, they did not get control of the top floor. Malkin is still up there. Ask also right at the entrance to Barbecue. And now you've lost that shield. Really rough going from Loud, because that initial play looks so good, but without anything else happening around it, Black Dragons have just slowly reasserted control of the map. It's working out well. SDK might be able to find one with shotgun in hand, takes down Ask, moves into the site. Secondary not doing as much work as he would like, and yet still neither team with an advantage. It might favor Loud, as Rare on 1 HP, but only one gun up at the moment. Flash 3 watching. Will they be able to counter this defuse? No. Live gets it down in time, and Loud try their best to back off and hold these angles. They find the next one, and it's all left up to Hornet, who with the 9x19 is able to swing around that Kiba. But where is that ace? Where's the last piece of this puzzle, and can you find him? Shut him down. Begin this counter defuse with enough time on the clock. Won't happen. It's a well-placed shot, but Loud only need a default. You plant the diffuser, you win the round. Doesn't matter if it takes all 5 bodies to get it done.
I know that's the way of the game, but it always feels a little bit cruel. But a trade is a trade, and you need to disable that diffuser. Loud put themselves onto map point right now. I was a bit panicked. For as good a game as Flastry has had, I feel like he kind of bottled that 1v1 there at the end. It wasn't a 1v1, but he was like head-to-head with the Azami. And it just turned into like a pro-off. Like both of them were just crawling around the floor trying to be the player in the off angle. The Pocket Kiba really coming in clutch, but not enough to secure a round. Deimos is going to be chosen by Black Dragons to be removed. It is a tool that Loud have used particularly well. I'm sure that it will buy them a little bit of safety. It's at least something that you don't have to worry about too much. And the Warden comes in on the removal for Loud. It kind of just adds a bit of fuel to the fire with what they've been bringing in the last couple of rounds, which has been, you know, Ying, smokes, things of that nature. It just opens up those avenues a little bit further. And if they do choose to switch over onto a blitz at some point, they have that option too as well. But at the moment, Loud really in the driver's seat. And I'll be honest, Lynx, I can't remember the last time that I remember an attacker-sided Skyscraper like this.
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I remember there was like kind of a brief era in... I want to say kind of like late...
Please say a good region.
I'm about to... Yes, don't worry. Well, actually, hold on. Not really. I remember an era in EU in like late 2023, early 2024. There's a time when G2 were really, really good on Skyscraper, and I think BDS generally were very good on Skyscraper, and I kind of remember that being at least attacker-sided domestically in the region.
Yeah, well, I think obviously before the BDS core moves to Falcons, that iteration of BDS, they were very good on Sky. There was a good G2 BDS game on Sky. I remember the casting that. We went to overtime, but yeah, it's team dependent, isn't it? But I think both of these two teams, we've kind of discussed they're somewhat equal in a lot of ways. There's not been too much separating them here tonight. It has just been genuinely better from Loud. They've been able to hold on their defenses a lot better than Black Dragons were able to.
You also got to give credit to some individual performances. Sure, maybe not the best 1vx last time, but Flash 3 with that 1v4 as well. It's got to be everything going right to have a good attacking half on Skyscraper. And with Black Dragons, they're able to get 3 rounds. Here from Loud, the same thing, but it's felt a bit more intentional from Loud. Whereas at times for Black Dragons, they bet it all on one thing, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's been more piece by piece from Loud. Live tries to make it past that hole, and he will. While he loses a lot of HP, the broader task of pinching Ask inside a delivery, that's what's important. Can't fall back. They just work it so well. Takes 2 minutes to get it done, but a 5v4 is nice. You still have the shield to fall back on. But all these Kibas to push through, still plenty of ways Black Dragons could win.
Yeah, Loud have got a minute. They need to be cautious of the time, but I don't think it's time to worry just yet. Onatal does still have 2 pocket Kibas. So Drum's going to be a bit of a nightmare to try and hold. It's not like you've got an Asher as a Fear or a Flores or anything like that to really deal with it. You're going to be looking to rely on those DMRs. The introduction of Tubarao is quite nice as well, just to slow the roll of these attackers as they try and aggress through. Miracle really getting himself tucked up right now, but Pocket Kiba again coming in clutch. It's one less angle to worry about for a very brief time. But ultimately, it will get removed again. Loud have to be framing up for the big final push right now in the 4v4.
Got the utility to get it done. Smoke canisters, candelas, ROU projectors, even some nades. They have a lot going into this, but a classic Loud round, low time. How will they find a way out of this? Shotguns for the close angles and no sight for Machina to look through, but we're a long way away from getting this case down. And yet everything seems to come up Loud. Just a few more seconds or a few more shots. And Loud with 4 in a row on Skyscraper attack. I think this map's going back in the permaban.